Welcome back to the Panthers.com video mailbag presented by CEENTA. Staff writer Max Henson here answering your questions as Carolina gets ready to head out west for this two-game road trip. We got our first question this week from Otto, who says, do you think the Panthers should start playing Cap to help the running game out? He did a good job against Tampa. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Obviously, Cameron Artis-Payne proven that he can be a contributor for this offense, but we've seen the past few weeks that he has not been active, and they've relied pretty heavily on Jonathan Stewart and mixed in Fozzie Whitaker at times, and I don't really see that changing for this run game. I think when you look at the lack of success they're having right now on the ground, it comes down to really getting the push up front. I don't think you can truly fault Jonathan Stewart. He's always running incredibly hard, doing the best he can. It's been tough because he's been swarmed pretty quickly, and I think right now for the Carolina offense, it's about getting that push up front. I know they've been dealing with a lot of injuries along that offensive line, but they kind of got to deal with the cards they've been dealt and try to find a way. That's really always been a signature of this offense, is having a consistent ground game. So I think you'll continue to see Jonathan Stewart get the bulk of the carries. They're going to try to get that workhorse going and hopefully try to churn out 4 or 5 yards a carry. That'll be huge if they can do that, especially coming up against Oakland and then Seattle. Got our next question from Top 3 Leo, who says, will Cash see more action at linebacker, and is Darrell Williams improving? Yeah, 2 young players on this team. I think you start with Jeremy Cash, and I assume the question is kind of alluding to the linebacker situation with the health of Luke Kuechly and how that might change things. But I think Jeremy Cash is pretty solidly in his role as a special teams contributor, and there are some guys above him in the depth chart at that linebacker spot. He's continuing to kind of learn and grow. Remember, of course, he made the transition from safety to linebacker after coming out of college, and he's doing a really good job on special teams. I think they really like the athleticism and the energy that he brings. When you talk about Darrell Williams on the offensive line, I think really experience is the only way you're going to improve as an offensive lineman in this league, and that's what he's getting right now. And so I think we're starting to see Darrell improve. Only giving up 1 sack since he's been in there. Of course, playing as that starting right tackle with Mike Remmers shifting over to left tackle in place of Mike Lure. So yeah, Darrell obviously going through kind of those ups and downs that a young player will go through throughout the early course of his career. But again, it's that experience that's really starting to pay off for him. And the more reps he gets in live action, in pressure situations, the better he's going to continue to get. We got our last question from Kyle Baker, who says, if the Panthers jump out to a lead, we expect the same conservative play calling in the fourth quarter. I know this has been talked about quite a bit the last few games here for Carolina, what's happened in the fourth quarter when they've had leads. And really, the players understand it as well. And they're frustrated by how things have gone. You look at team captain Greg Olsen, for instance, who said after that game against New Orleans, quote, we've got to be better. There's no mistaking that. Not real happy with how we finished the game. We understand that tonight is not the final product we're searching for. So they know that the execution just has to be better in late game situations. On offense, you're going to have to run the ball when you've got to protect the lead late. And that's just the reality of it. You've got to work the clock. That comes down to execution. You've got to stay on blocks, be sound up front. And even when the other team knows you're running it, the sign of a good offense is that they're still able to find ways to do that. And then defensively, of course, you don't want to give up big plays. You want to keep the guys in bounds to keep that clock going. Defensively, everybody on Carolina is aware of that. There is some youth, of course, but they understand what needs to be done. And again, it's that word execution. On both sides of the ball, regardless of what play is called, you can make it work. And that's what Carolina is focused on, both offensively and defensively, if they're in that situation with a lead late on these next 2 games. Thanks for the question this week, everybody. We'll do it again next time, right here on Panthers.com.